Let's welcome Kathy Holly and Spotlight.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, what a wonderful surprise. Do I have some guests for you out there? If you haven't seen the show Foodies, well, you're making a big mistake. You better get a ticket and see Foodies in San Francisco, because tonight I have the guests from Foodies and I have the composer himself over here, Mr. Morrie Bobrow. Hi, Morrie. You've been on the show before, but tonight you brought two of the cast members and then the stage manager. So I'm going to introduce Kim Larsen to my right. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kathy.
We've done a show before together.
Yeah.
And over here, David Goodwin.
Yes,
so great to
hello.
meet you. A wonderful member of the cast. And then the stage manager, Jim McCunn, stage manager. We're going to find out what a stage manager does.
Very
Sounds
rare to hear from a stage manager.
It's very true. You're kind of in the background, but you're very important. You're an important person with the show. Morrie Bobrow, I know I was in your show, Are We Almost There? And you've written so many shows. Tell us a little bit about Foodies. Just recap again what Foodies is about.
Foodies, the musical, is a comedy review, comedy songs and sketches all about food and eating habits, restaurants, trends, foodies, of course, and so forth. And so everybody can relate to it. We say if a show for everyone who's ever eaten.
That's perfect.
So I think it
yeah.
applies to everybody. And the show is at the Shelton Theater in San Francisco, downtown, right near Union Square. And we're now in our third year.
Third year, which means super success.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
very happy with the
nice.
success
Super
of the show.
success.
People really like it. They tell their friends about it. Getting good reviews online. Customers, these days they review all these shows, and so we're very happy with the success of the show.
It's a
We
big
hopefully will keep
success.
going every Friday and Saturday night.
All right. Now, what do we all think a foodie is? I have my own opinion of a foodie. What do you think, Kim? What is a foodie?
Well,
a person who...
I think a foodie is somebody who's a little obsessive about food and the food scene,
Exactly. What they like to eat, what they don't. What do you think, David?
I think it's actually Jim McCunn.
A
He's
foodie.
a foodie.
Okay.
He's our resident
I
foodie.
think, there's two schools or two camps of foodies. There's the ones that love to cook,
Oh, yes.
and they have to have the certain ingredients and have the dinner parties. And then there's the ones who are obsessed with a new restaurant. Having to
Yes.
get that reservation, that hard to get reservation at the hot new place.
The hottest new place
Yeah.
now in San Francisco is
Yeah.
called what? Al's Place, I think that's what
Yeah.
it is. And you
Yeah,
can't get a
that's right.
reservation
Yeah.
on the front page of the Chronicle. All over the United States. It's the most
Best
famous
new
right
restaurant
now.
in
Yes,
in
in
the United
ages.
And there's I think been kind of a competition between the New York food scene and the San Francisco food scene. But some New York Times writer or something just christened San Francisco the best food city when it was someone from New York. So
And it's great to be in a show that has, some comedy in it about food, so we don't take it too seriously.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple of numbers we're going to see. Everybody, you're very lucky. You're going to hear a couple of numbers from the show tonight. But Kim Larsen, who is in the show, how did you get started in musical theater? And I did a show with you, one of Morrie's shows.
Yes,
But how
yes.
did this all begin with you?
Well, I started doing musical theater when I was in grade school.
Really?
You know.
You went to school too?
Yeah, back in the 80s or something, I think it was.
Oh, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
So you did
But
theater
no,
at
so I've
school.
just been doing theater pretty much all my life.
Now, when you say in school, some schools don't really do a lot of musicals anymore. I mean, theater's taken kind of a, unless you're lucky enough to really have a school that may have parents that volunteer to put on a show,
it was
right?
a small school in Nebraska, grew up
Oh.
in Nebraska, but we did things like Bye Bye Birdie, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown,
great.
So I got to do those kind of shows when I was very young.
That's
and just
wonderful.
continued throughout high school and college and after college.
What did you do in Bye Bye Birdie?
I was Albert.
Albert.
The Dick Van Dyke role,
yes.
if you've seen the movie.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I played Kim McAfee in that.
Oh.
In college, I was the sexy one. But looking back, I was a brunette then, and I don't think I was sexy, but it was very much fun. It was so much fun to do that show. I loved it. It was great. So it's in your blood,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
You keep it going, and you want to do musical theater.
Yeah.
And of course, comedy, musical comedy.
Yeah, I've
is
been
what's
lucky
so
in the
great.
last decade to do a lot of Morrie shows.
I know.
Are We Almost There, the travel musical
Yes,
together.
which I
And then I
loved.
went on after that and did Shopping, the musical. And he keeps hiring me back for some reason. And so now I'm in Foodies, the musical, too.
And it is great. I saw you in it. I just love it. So we'll have to come back and I'll see you again in that show.
Good.
And that would be wonderful. And over here on my left, yes, David Goodwin. How did
Yes.
you get started in all of this?
Well, just by happenstance, I was taking a class at ACT,
Oh,
and one of our original cast members in the show was Sarah Houter.
Yes.
And we were doing a recital basically at ACT together, and she invited Morrie and Kim and Jim to come and hear me sing a solo in that
Great.
recital.
Now, what class was it at ACT?
It was the musical theater performance class.
And was this the last 2 years, 3 years? Just
I
recent?
was in doing classes for about 2 years before I got in the show. And then once I started in the show, I quit going to class because I was busy
Of course.
for 10 years now between shopping and Foodies.
Oh, great. It's been 10 years then.
Well, we did
Foodies was
6
about 6 years.
Yeah.
shopping was
shopping
was about
Shopping,
six and a half
yes,
years.
You're right.
Yeah, and then this show has been going 3, so nine
Isn't that
and a half years.
amazing? So I did your other show 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some mistake. It seems like yesterday.
I know.
I still have the music. I love this, songs from your shows. I'd like to take one out, one here and there. So that is great. You kept it going. Now, where was your training before that? Anywhere?
Actually, no. Training was on the fly in Iowa.
Oh, you came from Iowa?
I went to school
Oh
in
my
Iowa,
gosh.
and out of
Midwest.
college, I was working in Iowa, and there wasn't a significant amount of theater there. So I started 2 community theaters in 2 different towns so I could perform. And that wasn't enough, so I started my own production company so I could perform every weekend.
Wow. So you're an instigator.
Yes, if I'm not
the-
performing, then
This is
create
great.
it.
So where in Iowa?
Fort Madison, small town where
Small
the state
town.
penitentiary is.
Oh, but you weren't.
No.
No. You weren't
Not a
in state
resident.
You weren't a resident of the penitentiary. But those little towns make it. Yeah, I've
Oh,
toured
yeah.
the Midwest. I toured in Iowa, Newton,
Oh.
Iowa,
Oh, Newton, I know.
Creston,
Yeah.
Iowa, Council Bluffs, Iowa.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did
Yeah,
all
up
the
down the
Holiday
river.
Inn circuit and the Ramada Inn circuit.
Oh.
Myself and my guitar. Yeah, and
Cool.
I
There you go.
loved the Midwest. You know what really was good about Nebraska too? Working in both of those states, I could see there was a love for, doing some musical theater. I was there in the 70s when they were still more maybe into country music, but occasionally you'd hear about a dinner theater, and that is a great concept, dinner theater.
Well, the production group that I started was basically doing dinner theater for people who would hire us. So we'd go into Holiday Inns and all these places, and they would hire the hotel to do the dinner, and I would bring the show in. And I'd bring
Great.
4 to 6 people, and we would do a show. And we had like 4 or 5 shows running at any time that they could pick from.
Do you think you could still do that today?
That was a lot of work.
2015.
I was doing the sound setup and the rehearsals and the putting up all the lights and everything every time, every Friday and Saturday night. I was young, yeah.
You
Let's
were
just say
younger
this
than
is much
springtime.
easier. Jim can do all the hard work, and I can just go on stage. So
Well, that is just so great. So, Jim,
Yeah.
yes, how did you get into stage managing?
Like Kim, I've been doing some kind of theater my whole life, and so I think after college, I really wanted to be a director, but I was determined to make a living doing theater, and so I would do some directing, and then I started doing stage managing, and
Great. Where are you
Yeah.
from originally?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, the Twin Cities?
That's right. That's
I
right.
love
A
the
lot of-
Twin
Yeah,
Cities.
and a lot of theater there.
There is. I remember on my one weekend off when I was touring that I went to Minneapolis and felt that, oh yeah, this is a great place
Yeah,
for theater.
yeah.
A lot of acting. And then you moved to
I
San
moved
Francisco?
here in 1999, and by 2003, I started working with Morrie on Are We Almost There?
Oh,
And,
that's
yeah.
great. Yes, because that was fun. We did that show.
Yeah.
That was so great. And now you're working with Foodies. You
Yeah.
just stayed.
Yeah.
Completely-
Yeah.
All right, tell us what a stage manager does, because out there some people may say stage manager. Oh,
Sure,
yeah, I have an
yeah,
idea,
so-
but I don't know.
Yeah, so really the stage manager is in charge of making sure the show happens every week or every night. So the actors come prepared to perform, of course, but the stage manager is really, the one responsible to make sure that everything's ready to go, everything's set up. In our little production company, really, I'm the only one there other than the actors and the pianist. So I'm running the lights and running the sound and warning the actors when it's time to go on and
You do
troubleshooting,
all of
all that
that.
stuff, yeah.
all of that. And so now during the day, when the tickets are sold, that's done online, right?
Anymore,
Yes,
right?
mostly online, yeah.
So you don't have to run a box office. But I'm sure it's very important. Yes, 6 minutes until curtain, everybody, and everybody's right. Now, the Shelton Theater is very intimate. I love that theater. And what amazed me when I did Are We Almost There is you run back behind the curtain and you have to have everything preset, presets if you're going to do props, and you have props. I mean, the timing is so important, as you
Yeah.
all know, because otherwise you may miss your entrance. So it's very, very tight back there. How many rehearsals do you think you all did for Foodies? I mean, before you got into the show, and there's what do we call it, a rotating cast, Morrie?
Not really. We pretty much have our standard cast. We have a few who, every once in a while, someone takes a night off and we have somebody fill in. But generally, it's the same people.
Well, that's great.
But you're right. It is a fast-paced show.
Yes.
And that's sort of the format of a musical review.
Right.
Is to keep things moving. So
No kidding.
One number is 2 minutes, and then you finish with that. Boom, you're on to the next number. So
And that's so great.
it's fun.
I try to explain that to people that, even when I do my cabaret show or supper club night at the Villa d'Est, how important it is, not to just walk on and say, how's everyone doing before you start singing, because then you have that 5 times a night and you're going, that's already been done. Let's
Right.
get on with the music.
with it.
Come
Yeah,
on,
right, let's do it.
let's get on with the show. So it is true. You have to keep the pace going, and that's the most important thing. I understand that you brought a clip from the show. Is that right?
I did indeed, and the clip features David and Kim, and a number about Groupons. Those little pieces. Those
yes.
certificates you get to get a
Specials.
discount.
Yes, online.
That's right. So in this scene, one of them is a devotee of Groupons, and the other one not so much.
Not so much. Okay. I have to see. All right. All of you out there have to decide what you like about Groupons. I guess we're ready to see the clip. Are you a devotee? Or will you?
For years we only dined in certain restaurants. It got to be a pretty dull routine.
To tell the truth, I used to like it better that way. You knew just what you'd get, know what I mean? Besides the current prices, who needs to take a risk on some new upstart restaurant's highly touted bisque?
In our stagnation we're no longer mired, because now I have so cleverly acquired Groupons, dining out Groupons. Oh, so much fun to explore.
A few restrictions apply, of course, like you have to eat dinner by 4.
Groupons, 2-for-1 coupons.
Only 18 more to go.
When we are seated, I bring it out.
When I show them, I keep my voice low.
We dined on huevos rancheros at the cutest of Mexican spots.
We had to drive 20 miles for Chipotle, mariachis, and trots.
Then for sure a place for tempura, where menus are done in haikus.
What an adventure to dine among lots of people who aren't wearing shoes.
We tried an au courant restaurant, hailed as the most avant-garde.
We couldn't ask more in terms of decor. It's the dining that was hard.
Tonight's specials are seared Torella with toasted fruzo, fried lurum, chaloupe and a crew, and a light shambazi sauce, or breaded chimbla over zaccharin crawl with schlim franco balinese clabosa, topped with a warm shantiki emulsion, served with stir-fried hylam, mescarolo, cubes, gazoo, and zesty crawl on linzimi and pickled zambogo mush. We are currently out of the gashoka.
Oh.
Oh, this is so much fun. So much fun. So do we all like Groupons? Sort of?
Yeah.
Oh, I use them.
Yeah.
Do you use them?
I use them in real life,
I
sure.
haven't
Yeah,
quite
but I do have that thing that Morrie wrote about in the song where it's a little embarrassing. You don't necessarily want to advertise that the only way you could have come to this nice restaurant is to get the discount. You
to
know.
get the discount,
Yeah.
a 2-for-1.
The 2-for-1,
I
yeah.
think I just saw one online today, and usually I don't get it because don't you have to have a certain amount of people that go for
It
the
depends.
group?
Oh, they're all a little different.
Yeah, a
they're-
little
yeah.
different.
They're all
It's
different.
funny because occasionally we'll offer the show on Groupons.
Oh,
And
yes.
you can tell if there's a lot of Groupon people in the audience that night, because when we start that song, they really laugh.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
that's
crazy.
great. That's great. What are some of the other songs in the show, the titles, Morrie?
Well, we have, let's see, we have a song about kind of disgusting foods like tongue, brains,
Ooh.
that kind of thing. Then we have a scene about water, how
love it.
pretentious some people get about their water.
Oh, yes.
And they're going on in all these flowery terms, like people describe wines.
Yes,
but they're
right.
talking about water. And we have a number where somebody sends something, a diner sends something back to the kitchen.
Oh, that's
And
a
the
good
chef
And
comes
the
out.
chef comes out.
Yes, and the chef is not too happy. And he sort of dresses down the diner and he says, "You're going to eat this the way I prepared it." And the diner says, "I'm going to get back at you. How are you going to do it?" "I'm going to Yelp you."
Oh,
Yeah,
boy, can we
see?
talk about Yelp?
Yelp.
That's a good
A
one.
lot of people get back at the merchant by Yelping them.
That's
And
true.
they try to get
And-
half off. And
One of
whatever.
my favorite scenes is where there's a couple having dinner together at a restaurant, and one of them is the sort of person who wants to share all the food on both plates, and the other one would much prefer to have their own dinner left alone and not be picked at by the other person.
That's a great.
Yeah, it's a
that's-
fun.
And the audience, you can tell a lot of couples have that dilemma, which
Right.
style.
And especially when you get ready to order, somebody else say, "How does anyone here at the table want to share the spinach salad?" No, I'm hungry. I don't want to order for myself. But these just little plates, maybe we can all share it. And then dessert. Can you bring 4 spoons, please,
Yeah.
to share the ice cream? I'm on a diet. I don't want to really eat the whole thing.
There's also a really fun song about this woman who has a crush on the food truck guy.
Oh,
So
that's
she sings
great.
about the food truck guy. That's a really fun song. in the
That
show,
is
too.
great because there's that wonderful show on TV. What is it? Food trucks, diners, all of. I
right,
love
yeah.
that. Do you watch that show?
I
It's fun.
haven't, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
And you could get some ideas, I guess, from that one. What is your favorite number, Dave? What one of your favorites?
The one
'Cause
I
it
get
co-
complimented the most on is where I do nothing.
Oh, what?
There's a number in the show where I do absolutely nothing, and I get everyone who, after the show goes, "How did you do that? That was so great," because I absolutely do nothing. I won't say any more until you come see the show.
Oh,
And
and
then-
I have seen the show, but I forget what that
Yeah,
number is.
It's a number.
Okay.
I'm really not the primary person in that number, but I just do nothing, and I sit there and do nothing, and everyone just is amazed.
Well,
that's
David, I
great.
think you ought to do a couple of lines from when you're the waiter, and you do. What do we?
Oh, pasta.
Yeah, just a couple of lines.
Do a little bit
Do a
of
couple.
pasta
Let's do a
for
little
us.
bit of it.
Oh, that'd be great.
They ask him, "Do you have any pasta?" I mean, and he goes on about listing the pastas.
I go on and I sing very quickly: tortellini, vermicelli, ravioli, capellini, mostaccioli, manicotti, rigatoni, fettuccine, mezzaluna, agnolotti, cascareccia, fettuccini, farfalle, bigoletti, panzotti, bucatini.
Oh my gosh.
And that's only half of
That's
it.
half.
that's half of it.
That's half of the number.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. I love it.
Talk
I mean,
about
that's
learning the
fast.
lines.
Yeah, talk about. I did a number Are We Almost There kind of like that?
Yeah.
What was it?
Cathedrals.
The cathedral number.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. I can't take any more cathedrals. Well, you know, since I just got back from Mexico, I have to tell you where I was, San Miguel de Allende, the food was delicious. And, you know, there's food, all types of food, restaurants in San Miguel now. So food is becoming very popular all over the world. I know there are places, you know, where it's not talked about, but the restaurants in this part of Mexico are terrific. And I think even in San Francisco, we're so international. There's all kinds of food. There's all kinds of restaurants, you know, and it's wonderful that way. Now, there's another song in the show. I understand you brought a clip of it. And will you set this one up, Morrie?
It's called Doctor's Orders. This is what you would like to hear your doctor say about your diet. What you'd like to have your doctor recommend.
Good one.
Well,
For years we only
Here's the other one.
Each time I go to have my yearly checkup, somehow it always turns out the same way. It's don't eat this, and don't drink this, and stay away from that. Just once I'd like to hear my doctor say.
You're not getting enough French fries in your diet. You must eat a generous portion every day.
Keep the schedule to the letter. The saltier, the better.
And if you want to switch to onion rings, okay.
And you really should be taking in more donuts,
Fried chicken.
Milkshakes
pizzas,
and burritos.
What your body lacks is greasier, fattier snacks.
And between snacks, try to include some Cheetos. Cut way back on vegetables.
Especially if they're raw or cooked with steam.
If you've a yen for vegetables,
eat a spinach dip that's mostly sour cream.
eat lots of eggs you scramble in pure butter.
Don't use a crummy Teflon pan instead.
And when the day is over, have pastrami on a roll and a sundae just before you go to bed.
And go easy on the exercise.
Slow down.
Sit down.
Lie down, you'll have a stroke. You'll hurt yourself if you exert yourself.
Have a couple of beers.
Relax.
And have a smoke.
I'm prescribing brownies, cherry pie, and cupcakes.
And fudge frosting is much better, you will see.
And you can keep your salary for a diet that's high calorie.
Cause for you, my services are free. Let's do lunch at KFC.
Oh, that was great. I got to applause. That is true. Everyone wants their doctor to say, go ahead, eat anything you want.
It's a fun number.
Right.
We have fun doing that.
Oh, that is great. And I understand the show's traveling now.
well, we're going to, this weekend we're going to do a show in Sacramento, performance.
Fabulous.
And we've done a couple around the Bay Area. And we're available if anybody
See
wants
out
to
there, they're
listen to the show.
available. I love the idea of you coming to Mexico. I think
Oh,
that
let's
would
go to
be-
We're
Mexico.
ready.
Yeah,
Good.
San Miguel de Allende, or maybe even Puerto Vallarta,
Vallarta.
taking foodies down
Well,
there.
the whole cast is going to be there in December. So we should
Oh,
go.
you are going to be there in
Well,
December?
we're just going down
For vacation.
for a special birthday.
for a special
David's
birthday, your 21st
Yeah,
again.
the
Oh,
21st.
David.
Yeah.
So you're going down, and will everybody stay in a condo? Is that it?
A
A big-
bunch of
Nearby.
different places. We're all around the same area.
Well, that's great. Well, maybe that, it's good to know that, because maybe there could be like a number or two at the Palm.
yeah.
there you go.
Then I
maybe.
could come in and do maybe cathedrals.
Maybe.
Oh, yes.
What do you think of that, Morrie? And I was just thinking about when we did Are We Almost There? The other one was my SUV number. That was one of my very favorites. I think that still holds true, right? That the SUVs do cause a little problem sometimes, I think so. And so what is in the offing about another musical. Do you have something you're going to be writing?
Not at this very moment. I'm just kind of, I have a few things ruminating in there, but as of right now, frankly, we're doing, and this cast is really doing it. We're doing, of course, Foodies every weekend.
Right.
And then we're still doing shopping. We're going to do the shopping later in the year for a special engagement. And we're actually going to do Are We Almost There? In the East Bay.
Without me, but that's
Without you.
okay. I understand. I just love that show. It's so great.
Yeah, so we have 3 of these shows in
Running in
our
our
heads
head
right
right
now.
now.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's great. Well, you can do it. You all could. So that's what the audience needs to know. These are great musicals, all different topics.
Right.
So Are We Almost There is the travel show. Shopping is about all kinds of shopping. I can think of one number 2 was in the hardware store. I thought that was great.
Hardware heaven.
Hardware Heaven was great. I mean, there's so many. And then there was one about candy, penny candy, kind of how that's disappeared. You know, little old-fashioned.
5 and 10.
5 and 10 cent store. Well, because I grew up in a neighborhood where you could go to the penny candy store on Haight Street in San Francisco. Many of you out there, well, you probably know too. You know, Haight Street I lived above the Haight. And that was when we used to shop on Haight Street, get all of our groceries there, but it's changed quite a bit. But penny candy, there is a song called Penny Candy,
that's right.
but I like the 5 and 10 cent store. It's the same kind of idea. Nostalgia.
We got a lot of compliments on that number.
Oh, that is a great number. And then, of course, now Foodies. Shopping, Foodies. Wait a minute, there's a few more musicals I missed.
Well, there's a
Other
couple
of his. We're not doing them right now, but he's got other
Well,
ones.
I wrote a show called Party of One.
I know,
which
I saw
ran
that
for
was
about
great.
7 years in San Francisco. And I also then kind of followed up with a show called Party of Two.
And
which
it's
is about
a couple. And I decided it was kind of based on you and Sharon a little bit. Hi, Sharon. Sharon's in the audience. Mrs. Bobrow is in the audience. So you out there haven't seen her, but she's lovely. And, well, I think that's a great show, too. I remember seeing that. And then, of course, there's another one. What's the other one?
Wrinkles?
New Wrinkles.
New Wrinkles. It's about aging, about hitting middle age.
Oh, yeah. Middle age is good.
Yeah.
I think we should stick with the middle
Let's
age
just stick with that.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
go
that.
beyond it.
That idea.
Yeah.
But
that
what cast
idea.
is he going to use?
Right. There's no one left.
There's no one left.
There's no one left. It's very interesting. And I do think I'm serious now about taking the show to Mexico. So you out there, if you have any friends that want to loan a condo or a house in San Miguel de Allende in particular, and I'll work on a theater there. But anyway, I can see this is a great show. Lots of fun. All the shows are fun. So you're going to continue doing the show. Does anybody have another job they do during the day, sort of?
We all work.
We all do, yeah.
You all have other careers, too. See, that's the beauty, though, of I love it, because you can still do showbiz. Well, it was great having everybody. Say goodbye to the audience. We're going to see you next month.
Come see Foodies.
Yeah.
Cause she missed the scenery, the native dances and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Hey mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, 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 you mixed up Siciliano.